Hi, I'm Renny Hartman, and I'm going to talk today about another John Sandford book. I've done two of them previously. This is Righteous Prey, um, and it puts the two main characters that he works with all the time, Lucas Davenport and Virgil Flowers, together again as they were in Ocean Prey, which I really, really like very much. I like the Florida setting. I like the fact that it really showed how close marshals, the FBI, local police, and detective work actually works all together in order to uh, have a conclusion, especially involved in the drug running and drug trade. Here we are back to violence again. There is a vigilante group that calls themselves the Five, and they start killing people around the country that they believe should be killed, and probably the reader would think they probably deserve to be killed. But if we're going to have law and order in some places in the United States at the moment, there is not a tremendous amount of actual law and order. But in here we have federal marshals, and I liked Lucas when he was in Minneapolis, St. Paul, years ago when he was starting out. I really liked him as a policeman and a detective. He had a strongly forceful, attractive personality, and Sandford has kind of kept that. But as he's gotten older as a character and now married and with children and his own house and his wife, he's had to slow down a little bit. He was always, I said, a dog with women in the early books. He was not feminist at all. And Virgil used to just love every woman who walked across his path, but now he's seriously involved. He and Frankie have had twins, so it makes them a little bit different as characters. But they work together very well, and they are often sometimes hysterically funny. They're not as funny as Lucas was just in Minneapolis with Dell, who hung out in the streets. He was always undercover, and he always looked like he lived under a bridge. But we don't have those characters anymore. But this is a kind of situation that could maybe developed even in the United States today, considering that in New York they are letting murderers out. They are not arresting people that assault business people and steal from them. They have decided not to prosecute. They have no bail. You don't have to pay bail. And they're having a horrendous rise in assaults, burglaries, and deaths, and seem not to be able to grasp that, for the most part, citizens do not want these things going on all the time, especially if they're going to end up in their own house once in a while. And so as these people move around the country killing the bad guys, they, of course, are themselves also bad guys. And that's how Lucas and Virgil set out to get a hold of them. And it runs all the way across the country. It's not only just in one place. It's in California. It's in the center of the country. It's in the east coast of the country. And there are several individuals involved in this because there are 5 of them. They have to find a way also to communicate and to stay out of the way of the police and the people who are seeking after them. And I have to say that that's written really very, very well. The way that the 5 are able to communicate, the way they are able to commit their crimes and get away with them, they're quite clever and quite smart, but not as smart in the end, because they are eventually apprehended and taken into custody. But Virgil and Lucas have quite a time in this book trying to find out how they started, who is the main person of the 5 that communicates to everyone else, how they decide on who they are going to kill, and how they go about their killings, and not leaving traces of themselves. It makes very interesting reading, and it's quite a fascinating book. And I have to say, if something like this began in the United States, I can actually see in places that there are vigilante groups and vigilante individuals, because the DAs in some places, such as New York City, Philadelphia, Los Angeles, Austin, Texas, do not act as if they are for law and order. They act as if they really prefer the criminals to be on the streets and acting out, rather than protecting the citizenry and having a calm and legal situation as our constitutions and our representatives, so-called, promise us. So I would say a good book for some excitement in murder is this book.